The children of Dan took it and smote it with the edge of the sword and possessed it and dwelt therein and called Dan. Joshua 19:47. In this video, I'm going to share with you about TEL DAN Nature Reserve. Treat yourselves to a wondrous nature reserve that is nothing short of a magnificent little piece of heaven, full of history and beauty. This site, located in northern Israel near Kiryat Shmona, isn't only a rare and exquisite archaeological treasure, but it is also one of Israel's most stunning natural attractions. The Dan River, originating from the springs at Tel Dan, is the largest of three sources of the Jordan River, and this site, covering a total area of 120 acres, has a variety of walks you can take through the reserve while enjoying its beautiful water streams and treetops. The longest route is the most thrilling one, for it combines antiquities with gorgeous natural sights. All these paths will ultimately lead you to a pool where the river has its source. There is a total of 4 nature trails that crosses water channels amid big forest trees and a flourishing plantation. This site is also famous for its incredible archaeological excavations, offering a unique exploration of both an ancient Canaanite civilization about 4,000 years ago and the Israelite tribe of Dan. These ancient ruins are truly amazing and will give you a new perspective on the historic events that took place in the Northern Kingdom. And now we're entering to the entrance gate to Dan from the time of the Israelite Kingdom. And he defiled the high places where the priests had burned incense and broke down the high places of the gates. 2 Kings 23:8. The Bible described the acts of Jeroboam, son of Nebat, erecting a golden calf and building an altar in Dan. The purpose of the ritual place was to serve as an alternative worship site for Jerusalem after dividing the kingdom, as per 1 Kings 12:28-31, whereupon the king took counsel and made 2 calves of gold, and said unto them, It is too much for you to go up to Jerusalem. Behold thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. And he set the one in Bethel, and the other put he in Dan. And this thing became a sin, for the people went to worship before the one, even unto Dan. And he made an house of high places, and made priests of the lowest of the people, which were not of the sons of Levi. The Canaanite city, the abundant source of waters, its strategic location on major ancient crossroads, and the fertile valley around it were the reasons why a mighty Canaanite city was established here almost 5,000 years ago. Opposite the gate's opening is a base of a canopy which is based on the flower-shaped stones with top grooves that held the poles. The raised platform may have been a sitting place of the king or judge. 2 Kings 23:8. Then the king arose and sat in the gate. Behind it, along the wall, is a stone bench on which the elders of the city sat. This custom is referred in several biblical passages, like in Ruth 4:1-2. Then went Boaz up to the gate, and he took 10 men of the elders of the city and said, Sit ye down here. And he sat down. Ruth 4:1 Inside the city are traces of ruins in which archaeologists excavated residential houses of the city dated to the Bronze, Canaanite, and Iron or Israelite ages. Another view of the trenches is below. A layer of ash was detected, dated to the 9th century BC. This may have been a result of the destruction by the intrusion of Syria's Ben-Hadad 885 BC along the North Jordan Valley, 1 King 1520. So Ben-Hadad hearkened unto the king Asa and sent the captains of the host which he had against the cities of Israel, and smote Ijon and Dan and Abel Bet-Mach and all Sineroth, which all in the land of Naphtali. And now we're entering a TEL Dan cultic center. Uncovered in the mount's northern end, the Israelite-era religious center of Dan was comprised of a big altar and rooms around it, some with the altar's utensils found in them. A Greek-Aramaic bilingual inscription to the god of Dan found nearby indicates the site remained sacred also in the Hellenistic period. While it is clear Jeroboam set up an altar at Bethel and Dan, most Bible students fail to realize that he inherited and modified the pagan altar at Dan and had functioned for 420 continuous years before him. The archaeology at TEL Dan provides us with an incredible window into the ancient pagan history of the tribe of Dan in 1350 BCE and Jeroboam in 930 BCE. And the king made 2 cups of gold, and he set one in Bethel, and the other he put in Dan. 1 Kings 12:28-29. And Jeroboam ordained a feast, and he offered upon the altar, sacrificing unto the calves, and ordained a feast unto the children of Israel, and he offered upon the altar and burned incense. 1 King 12:32-33. This is the high altar. This is the sacred present. Following the division of the kingdom of Solomon in 930 BC, Jeroboam, son of Nebat, established a cult at Dan as an alternative to the one at the temple in Jerusalem. He placed a golden calf in the city and built a house of high places. In the Hellenistic period, the cultic present was surrounded by a wall that is visible to this day. Bilingual Greek-Aramaic inscription found at the site attests to
High
the
place at Dan in northern Israel dates to 920 BC when Israel was divided into the northern Israel and the southern Judah kingdoms. The high place measured 62 feet square and was surrounded by a wall. On top of the high place were buildings that housed the shrine or idol that was worshipped there. Aviran or Abraham Biran, the archaeologist who directed the excavation, found evidence of 3 different high places in this site, all built on the same location, and each contributing some of what is seen here. The earliest remains date to King Jeroboam in the 10th century BC. As the new king of the recently formed northern kingdom, Jeroboam needed an alternative to the temple established by David and Solomon at Jerusalem, probably built over an existing religious sanctuary. The high place at Dan focused on a golden calf as the object of worship. 1 Kings 12:26-30. The platform at the time was 60 feet long and 20 feet wide and had an altar in front of the steps. In the photograph, an iron frame outlines an altar located in the same place as Jeroboam's. You can see the original steps of the altar. It is amazing to look at this place and recognize the beginning of Israel's drift into pagan practices and values. At the second stage of development, the platform of the high place was rebuilt to its present size, probably by King Ahab, whose devotion to Baal or Baal is well known. Israel continued to sink deeper into pagan practices and values and farther away from God. The third stage of development came during the reign of Jeroboam II, probably 760 BC. The large staircase and altar in front of the high place were added at that time. Archaeologists found only parts of the altar, including one of the horns that protruded from the four corners and part of the steps leading to it. Based on these findings, archaeologists constructed this metal frame, which shows how massive the altar was. It towered over the altars of earlier times. During the Jeroboam III's reign,
Prophet Amos predicted the final destruction of
the Israelite nation because of its idolatry and pagan practices. His message must have seemed totally out of place because Israel was at the peak of prosperity. 30 years later, however, the northern 10 tribes were destroyed by the brutal Assyrian army and ceased to exist as a people. Ashes and burn marks from a great fire were among the remains of this altar and high places, confirming Amos' predictions.
City of Dan in the Bible. God appeared to Jeroboam and promised to bless him if he would serve him. 1 King 11:38. Then it will be that if you listen to all that I command you, and walk in my ways, and do what is right in my sight, by observing my statutes and my commandments, as my servant David did, then I will be with you, and build you an enduring house, as I built for David, and I will give you Israel to you. Jeroboam turned away from the Lord and built golden calves in Bethel and in Dan. 1 King 12:25-31. Then Jeroboam built Shechem in the hill country of Ephraim and lived there. And he went out from there and built Penuel. Now the kingdom will return to the house of David. After a severe warning from God, Jeroboam continued in sin. The worship of false gods would eventually seal the doom of the northern 10 tribes of Israel. 1 King 13:33-34. Even after this, Jeroboam did not change his evil ways, but once more appointed priests for the high places from all sorts of people. Anyone who wanted to become a priest, he consecrated for the high places. And was the sin of the house of Jeroboam that led to its downfall and its destruction from the face of the earth. The sin of Jeroboam became a pattern that the rest of the kings of Israel would follow. 1 King 15:33-34. In the third year of Asa, king of Judah, Baasha, son of Ahijah, became king of all Israel in Tirzah, and he reigned 24 years. And he did evil in the eyes of the Lord, walking in the ways of Jeroboam and in his sin, which he had caused Israel to commit. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video. Thank you. Goodbye. Please subscribe to my channel. Share it. Bye.